everyone, my name is Ronella Hernandez and I'm your CryptoTV host. I'll be breaking down some of the latest news from the Web3 world. We'll start off with Grayscale winning a case against the SEC, and X, formerly Twitter, gets a new digital assets license. And please stay tuned for a special guest today. Let's get into it. It's been a good week. Most of crypto's in the green, the US SEC took another loss in court, and Bitcoin is all over the news. Let's start with the case Grayscale versus the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC. Grayscale won and the SEC lost in a spot Bitcoin ETF case. Grayscale Investments is an American digital asset management company founded in 2013, just a few years after Bitcoin was created. And for the last couple of years now, Grayscale has been trying to convince the SEC to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. Basically, it allows investors to gain exposure to Bitcoin while avoiding the challenges of buying, storing, and safekeeping BTC directly. Last year, the SEC denied Grayscale's application to convert its existing Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, into an ETF, because it worried that a Bitcoin ETF would be vulnerable to manipulation. GBTC trades on the NASDAQ, and it represents about 0.0009 BTC. But there's no way to redeem holdings in exchange for Bitcoin in the trust, so that's why they wanted to convert it into an ETF. This week, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit ruled 3-0 in favor of Grayscale. The United States Court of Appeals granted Grayscale's petition for review. This means that the judges found that the SEC had no good reason to deny Grayscale's Bitcoin spot ETF application. The judges used phrases like fell short of the standard, absence of a coherent explanation, and arbitrary and capricious to describe the SEC's decision-making. Let me point out a couple of important points here. For the last few years, the SEC has been blocking spot ETF proposals left and right. Grayscale is just one of several asset managers whose spot Bitcoin ETF applications the SEC has rejected. Others include Cathie Wood's ARK, Fidelity, and Invesco. The difference here is that Grayscale sued the SEC, and the case went straight to the appeals court. Also, while the SEC has rejected spot Bitcoin ETFs, it has approved Bitcoin futures ETFs, which track agreements to buy or sell Bitcoin at a pre-agreed price. The SEC argues fraud and manipulation could affect the spot and the futures markets differently. However, the US court found no evidence of this, and Grayscale argued back that the Bitcoin futures ETF surveillance arrangements should also be satisfactory for Grayscale's spot ETF, since both products rely on Bitcoin's underlying price. Bitcoin's future ETFs track Bitcoin futures that trade on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the CME. And the CME surveils future markets conditions and price movements in real time and on an ongoing basis in order to detect and prevent price distortions, according to the SEC. Grayscale's lead counsel told the court in March that a spot Bitcoin ETF would better protect investors because it would give them the benefit of the CME oversight of the market. And this makes sense given that most crypto investors so readily trusted unregulated and less well-established exchanges like FTX. So what now? Well, Grayscale has been granted a petition for review. And this means that the SEC needs to review the application again and either accept it or pick a different reason to deny the application and drag on the process even longer, or appeal the court's decision within the next 45 days and get new judges to review the case. Either way, the court's ruling is a major win for the industry. Not only does it better the odds for a Bitcoin ETF approval, but most importantly, it shows that the SEC's word isn't end-all be-all for crypto. The ball is back in the SEC's hands, and all eyes will be on Gary Gensler to see what the next move is. And this news has caused Bitcoin's price to climb. Hey, even my own dad called me to tell me to buy more Bitcoin upon hearing the news. BTC reached a high of $27,900 this week. Let's see how it's doing now. And by the way, Europe also recently saw its first spot Bitcoin ETF, the Jacob F.T. Wilshire Bitcoin ETF, and it kicked off trading on Amsterdam Stock Exchange on August 15. In other news, the platform X, formerly Twitter, made a big move this week. It got a crypto license for crypto payments and trading. And here's what we know so far. X got approved for a currency transmitter license in Rhode Island. The license lets companies store, transfer, and exchange digital assets, as well as hold assets on behalf of its users. The license also includes related service providers like crypto wallets, payment processors, and exchanges. So just like that, X is one step closer to integrating digital assets and crypto payments into its platform, and to becoming the everything app that Elon Musk talks so much about. Even though recently he said that X would never launch its own crypto token, this news appears bullish for the Web3 industry, especially given the fact that X has around 450 million monthly active users as of 2023. I think it's definitely a smart move because most of Web3 activity is already on X. Hello, crypto Twitter. And X may potentially set the bar for other social media apps that want to integrate blockchain and crypto features. Speaking of which, do you guys remember when Instagram tested out showcasing digital collectibles and NFTs last year? Well, earlier this year, Meta, Instagram's parent company, ended up disabling all of those features that supported NFTs across the platform. They said that they did so to focus on other ways to better support creators, people, and businesses. Who knows? Maybe those same NFT features will soon be coming to X. What else do we think we'll soon see on X? Perhaps a wallet or an X exchange? I think it's safe to assume that Elon's beloved Dogecoin will be the first cryptocurrency on X. And hey, maybe this could even spark the next bull run that we've all been waiting for. What do you guys think? Is mixing social media and crypto payments a good idea? Let me know in the comments. Now, please welcome our special guest joining me today who will talk about gaming. Joining me at the desk today, we have Ahmed Tehemar, who is a gaming veteran and connoisseur of Web3 gaming. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Ornella. How are you yourself?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me. I first wanted to start off by asking you what you think about X gaining this license for crypto payments and crypto trading that I spoke about a bit earlier. What do you think about it?
X, or formerly known as Twitter, is a huge platform where a lot of content creators depend on advertising their content, advertisement, companies, products, in order to reach a certain user base.
Right.
With their user base, enabling payments is a great step for them because they will keep the user during one more step of their transaction between the content creators or between the people that they're following more time on the platform. That's number one. Number two, they will increase the utility of the app itself by allowing payments. Plus, X started sharing revenue from the ads that they're displaying to the people with the highest following. As much viewability as they're getting for these ads, they get paid in revenue. So it's a great way to incentivize people. It's a great way to also recreate the platform and make it more efficient.
Yeah, Elon talks about making it this everything app. So it'll be not just for communication, social media, but like you said, payments and transactions, and a way for people to even make their livelihoods.
Absolutely, and also I think the direction is more and more companies realizing that a lot more financial independence is required for people to be able to carry their day-to-day transactions, not have to be dependent on banks for approvals or even asking them or questioning them afterwards, where did this transaction go, where did this transaction go, and blocking their accounts. You have the freedom to do that with stable coins. And as you know, PayPal as well is applying for their crypto stablecoin, which is PYUSD, which is also going to be a great step moving forward, as PayPal is one of the top financial apps that people use for payments all across the globe.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk was one of the co-founders of PayPal.
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
he wants to make it now X.
there is a strategy there.
Yes, I'm sure. Are you a big X user or crypto Twitter user?
Crypto Twitter, yes, but I'm not a big social media user in general. But I follow crypto Twitter because of my interests and my work.
Yeah.
But if I'm on vacation, I'm off everything.
Makes sense. We all need a little detox sometimes from social media, myself included. All right, so then tell me a little bit about how you got into the Web3 space, because I know before you were a pro gamer. So,
yeah, for the longest time.
Yeah,
but,
so how did that transition into Web3 and blockchain?
I was just a gamer all my life. I enjoyed games, I loved them, I excelled at them, and I started competing and it was fun. And then I just Went to college, got my degree, started working, and a couple of years down the corporate line, I didn't really like what I did at all.
Okay.
So I took all my savings and I started an esports gaming company, which I ruined completely, but it was fantastic as I learned everything from it. Afterwards, I got offered the opportunity by Gameloft to run their marketing and communications department in the Dubai office, which honestly gave me my at least warrior status to start with, handling their portfolio of games. Gameloft is a great gaming company, and that position very quickly turned out to be a mixture of all venues. So I became a jack of all trades very quickly within the gaming industry.
Is that what you mean by warrior status? Because you have to handle so much?
Pretty much, or in gaming terms at least. I started afterwards handling the gaming vertical from the business development perspective for Huawei App Gallery. And then I moved over to Binance and BNB Chain, where I managed their gaming vertical globally. And I just left last month. I've been on vacation and I'm going to start my new venture soon.
Okay, so before we get into that, so you went from like esports to mobile gaming at Huawei, and then Web3 gaming.
Yes.
Right? So you were in all different capacities.
I've been interested in gaming, and gaming got me to Web3. I've been interested in Web3 since 2016. Through the Joe Rogan podcast, where he had a guest that was talking about Bitcoin back then, and it was very fascinating and I liked it.
Did you invest in any back then?
I couldn't, because back then there wasn't any platforms to buy crypto from here.
Okay.
I looked into it, and the only way was flying down to New York to buy crypto by cash from somebody that will give me a USB drive, which just didn't seem convenient back then. And then later on, 2017, 2018, I realized how important that was. I did my investments, I want to say pretty early, but I just left them there to grow generically.
Total?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, sounds good. So tell me just more generally what you think about the Web3 gaming space right now. Where do you see it, its trajectory, your honest opinion about it?
My honest opinion about it, it sucks. But it's a fantastic breeding ground. The Web3 gaming space currently is us living in the same age when Mario came out, 36, 37 years ago.
So stuck in the past?
We're not stuck in the past, but I'm saying that this is the first baby steps. This only can go up from here. Everybody in the space is still trying to figure out how to engage users, how to improve their game loops, improve their monetization loops. Everybody's trying to figure out how to do user acquisition for their games. So we are at a very, very exciting time when it comes to growth. A lot of companies, a lot of studios are building a lot of great games that would be upcoming. A lot of good games exist currently. Nothing necessarily out of the ordinary that's special or exciting from a gaming perspective. There is a lot of interesting projects from a crypto perspective, but I'm not necessarily interested about the crypto side of it as much as the gaming side of it. The gaming side comes first, and once the game proves it's successful and can maintain itself and can provide revenue for the studio to keep building and enhancing on the game, then the payment aspects of it becomes important.
Okay, so no favorite Web3 based or NFT based games for you?
No, not at all. I have a few titles I'm looking forward to see. I have a few titles
Can you share them?
Trying. I'm very excited to see Shrapnel come out.
I was going to say,
I'm very excited. Yeah, Calvin and his team are doing a really fantastic job on that game. But again, we're waiting for the game to come out to see how well the game will be done and how well it will be able to prove itself in the market.
Why does it take so long to develop these games, these video games?
There is a lot of work that is put in the games from a strategy perspective, as in planning the game from the beginning. Maintaining the game loops, looking at the game from a monetization perspective, looking at a game from what is the target audience I'm looking to attract, building the art, building the audios, building the capabilities, making sure that all the characters have a balanced, well-rounded abilities so they all have a similar sum of power. You can't have huge discrepancy. Making sure that cheaters don't get involved in the games as much as well, because that ruins everyone's fun. However, and I'm going to say this again, probably for the 1000th time, there is a 4,000 gaming apps uploaded daily to Apple Store and Google Store. We hear about 6, 7 a year. maximum. I'm in the industry, I hear about 100.
Right, so it's very hard to have one take off.
But it's not just that, there is a mixture of requirements for games to take off. Not all games get the capacity to take off. A game can be amazing, but the team doesn't know how to market it or doesn't know how to do user acquisition. The game doesn't make money, the game dies. The game could be not that good, but the team could be fantastic at selling the game, which will provide short-term increments in terms of revenue, but then on the long term, the game doesn't have base. If the team doesn't use the capital to improve the game, enhance the gaming loop, get the attention of people more, then the game wouldn't be going anywhere. It also depends on the game genre, it depends on the audience, it depends on the regions that you're targeting. At some point, it even depends on the language and the characters drawn. I'm also excited about Seraph Into the Darkness by Actosoft. Very, very promising looking title. There is a few others, but nothing comes to mind as big as those two. Heaven's Compass actually is it's pretty under the radar currently, and they're coming out of their shell soon. Really good game. I have high hopes for that game.
Okay, I'll look into it.
I'm very disappointed that there are no more car racing games though.
I was going to say also, there's so many shooter games, which I'm not personally a huge fan of.
Yeah, I understand.
I want some more genres in there, more adventure or something.
Yeah, the genres are missing because everybody is still trying to build a game. No one is still trying to build a portfolio of games or build a sustainable portfolio of games. Because as a user, even in the same household, you would be playing car games, your partner might be playing FPS games, your kid might be playing role-playing games, your parents might be playing strategy games. It's very different to the approach. So there is no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to gaming.
Definitely, definitely. And then I know before you were the senior manager of gaming at BNB Chain, Binance.
Yeah.
So maybe you could talk about just the popularity of the BNB Chain, because I know that there's a lot of games on there that actively.
I'll be very biased. I'll be very biased because I love Binance and BNB Chain, and I was responsible for building the gaming ecosystem there. So these are the games that I brought with the help of my team. Really good games, and what BNB Chain succeeds at is attracting a huge amount of users that they have already on their platform and utilizing them in the way where those users go to the right dApps in their ecosystem. That is something BNB Chain is really good at. As it stands, they still have the current user base from actual users on the Web3 ecosystem. So I'm very excited to see them moving forward as well.
Okay, and now I know you're also moving forward to a new chapter. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I haven't announced this yet, but I'll be a contributor for CoreDAO. I will be heading their gaming vertical as they are interested in bringing more gaming to their ecosystem, to Core Chain that's being built on the Satoshi consensus. And I have really high hopes for the chain, for the team, and we will be building a gaming strategy, a gaming portfolio, figuring out how to attract users to the right gaming genres from my perspective, and my team colleagues will be working on other services such as SocialFi and DeFi.
All right, and then any advice that you may have for maybe gaming developers or people who want to get into Web3 games?
Keep building. The current ecosystem might be hard, and people take the bear market as a sign of things slowing down. When it comes to building and developing, bear market is the best time to build. Keep building, keep optimizing your processes, keep enhancing your user acquisition techniques, keep decreasing your churn rates on the game, keep increasing the loyalty rates of the users that you have. Try to cultivate culture where the game comes first, not the crypto, not the NFTs, not the coins. Games don't necessarily require economies up until they get to a certain extent. When you have 65 million daily active users like Roblox, I'll let you have your own economy. But if you're building a hyper casual game, please focus on the game.
So no more play to earn economies.
Play to earn was just a very failed concept of user acquisition. They could not attract the user with the play itself. So they're trying to attract the user with the earn part. gamers don't look for money. Gamers are on the platform to pay money to play the game. I paid $180 for Diablo 2 months before it came out, just so when it comes out I play it, and I've been playing Diablo for the past 4 months. Now, that's a game I'm waiting for because the game is good. I've paid in advance for God of War as well last year. I actually took a week off from work just to sit down and finish the game.
Wow.
Yeah,
so dedicated.
Gamers aren't necessarily waiting for the earn part. They're looking for the enjoyment. It's the trip.
The fun of playing.
The fun, but also most of the gamers that exist, they think differently. They're thinking about everything around them from a gamified perspective.
Okay.
They're figuring out how to game the system, which is what they're doing in games that enhances their cognitive skills a lot. At the end of the day, they're looking for a challenge. They're looking for an interesting challenge to keep their attention span and put their time to good use, as in provide them good entertainment. So for now, keep building, keep enhancing your processes, we'll get there. NFTs won't increase in value as people are advertising because they are simply in-game purchases.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how could we lock in the in-game purchases first, just as the Web2 industry done and is doing, and then we can see where the game increases in value. Pokemon cards only have high value because Pokemon have withstood over 30 years of history. So the IP has been running that long.
Yeah.
So when I was a child and my generation were children, we grew up with Pokemon.
Yeah.
And now because we have money, we want to establish our status by buying expensive Pokemon cards. That does not apply to the Web3 hyper-casual games that are coming out now.
Okay.
If you buy an NFT and the game doesn't exist in 6 months, that NFT is worthless in 6 months.
There's no loyalty to the branding. Right?
There is no brand anymore.
There's no brand.
The brand itself failed. The game failed. It doesn't exist anymore. But if the title withstands the test of time, then let's talk about that.
Okay.
For now, still give the NFTs as what they are. They are a utility for the users to own their own assets, and just do not expect any margin of profit. It's not a profit game.
But it's more, the NFTs in game they have a utility, like they have the function
They have a
in game.
utility in the game as they are a purchase, but that's it. It ends there.
Right.
You shouldn't also limit your stash of the items that you're printing. Because at the end of the day, the gaming industry is still a form of entertainment. Your job is to build as much as they require. Building a specific amount of items for each and every sale
It's not sustainable.
is not sustainable because you're going to have to keep creating items which requires more time and effort than you are making money out of them. That's number one. But also number two, it does not become fair in the game, because here's what happens when Web3 games try to gain users. The first thing that jumps on top of them are the player colleges or the clans or whatever you want to call them. And at the end of the day, they're not interested in your game. They're an organization that is trying to flip a profit. They're trying to get all their gamers to play your game, to gain as much NFTs, flip them on the market. The moment you stop being profitable to them, they will abandon your game. And at that stage, you're using your primary yield of users. So you are losing your foundation of users. If you don't have that foundation that exists, you can't build on top of it.
Makes sense. Well, we had a long way to go then.
It will be a very, very fun way.
Okay, I'm going to look into the games that you told me. We are running out of time, so I do have to end it now. But thank you so much for your time today, Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Ornella, for having me. Have a fantastic day.
You too. And please stay tuned for the rest of CryptoTV.
In the crypto market, the price of Bitcoin went up to $27,900 this week and is now trading at $26,000. Ethereum is slightly down with a price of $1,640. Matic is up nearly 2% in the past 7 days with a current price of 55 cents. And Dogecoin briefly pumped this week by 2% as well.
That's all for today. Please remember to hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.